Growing up, I was always taught that the ultimate goal was to get a good education, secure a stable job, and work hard for a comfortable life. But I started to question if the traditional education system was leaving out one of the most crucial skills for success: financial literacy. It was a question that challenged everything I knew about work, money, and success. My story isn't just about money. It's about mindset, resilience, and learning from real experiences rather than textbooks. I want to share with you the lessons I learned from my two father figures, my poor dad and my rich dad, and how these lessons shaped the way I view the future. Financial education isn't something that can be easily picked up by following the conventional path. It requires a willingness to question what we have been taught and to seek out knowledge from those who have truly experienced the ups and downs of the financial world. Most of us grow up being told to get good grades, go to college, and find a stable job. But what if this isn't the only way to achieve success? What if we are missing out on the opportunity to learn how to make our money work for us rather than spending our entire lives working for money? My journey is a testament to the power of unconventional thinking, and it inspires us all to look beyond the status quo and strive for financial independence by understanding how money really works. The turning point in my life came when I asked a simple question: do rich people cringe when they hear certain things being shared with the public? The answer I received was a resounding yes. Rich people don't want others to understand the principles of wealth building. I remember asking my father, who was the head of education and held a PhD, why financial education wasn't taught in schools. He explained that the government decides what subjects can be taught, and financial literacy wasn't on the list. I found this baffling. I asked, aren't we supposed to go to school to learn about money? My father responded that the purpose of school was to get a job. I couldn't understand why, if the end goal was earning money, there wasn't a focus on learning about it directly. My father suggested I ask my best friend's father, who was an entrepreneur, to teach me about money. This man, who would become my rich dad, was very different from my own father, an employee working for the government. Rich dad believed that as an entrepreneur, knowing about money is essential for survival. Employees, on the other hand, are taken care of by their employers and the government, and they do not necessarily need to understand money. This distinction opened my eyes. I decided to learn from Rich Dad, who agreed to teach me on one condition: I would never be paid for the work I did. Rich Dad explained that the moment you get a paycheck, you start to think like an employee. He wanted me to think like an entrepreneur. As a young boy of 9, I found it tough to grasp why I shouldn't receive a paycheck. Rich Dad emphasized that entrepreneurs figure out how to make money without expecting it to be handed to them in a steady, predictable manner. He taught me using a simple Monopoly board game. He made me work for free, doing small tasks like picking up cigarette butts and later working in offices doing marketing and accounting. I realized that Rich Dad wasn't just making me do chores. He was teaching me real-life lessons about the value of hard work and creativity in generating income. One day, frustrated, I asked when I would start learning about real money. Rich Dad said, "What do you think we're doing?" He explained that playing Monopoly, acquiring 4 green houses and trading them for a red hotel, was a metaphor for building wealth. He told me that one of the best ways to acquire great wealth is to start small and accumulate assets over time. 10 years later, when I was in college, I returned home to find that Rich Dad had bought one of the largest pieces of land in Waikiki Beach, where he built a Hyatt Regency hotel, just like in the game of Monopoly. The lesson was clear: accumulate assets and watch them grow. I learned that acquiring wealth was not just about accumulating assets, but about strategic thinking and persistence. Rich Dad taught me that life is like assembling a puzzle, buying small properties and eventually creating something massive. That's how he managed to put together the large piece of property in Waikiki that later turned into a highly valuable hotel. Rich Dad's lessons didn't stop at acquiring properties. He also taught me the value of patience and strategic foresight. Building wealth is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires a step-by-step approach where each small victory builds on the last. I observed firsthand how Rich Dad would buy small pieces of land, patiently wait for the right opportunity, and eventually combine them into a valuable property. This strategy, known as assemblage, is one that requires a keen eye for opportunity and the ability to see potential where others see nothing but obstacles. This was a critical lesson that I would carry with me for the rest of my life. I also faced many challenges and setbacks in my financial journey. I experienced financial crashes and was betrayed by people I trusted. Yet I view these struggles as necessary for personal growth, comparing it to the spiritual growth that comes from experiencing both good and bad. I criticized the school system for discouraging failure, pointing out that failure is often the best teacher. The fear of making mistakes keeps people stagnant, and that's not real life. Real growth comes from learning, falling, and getting back up, a process that traditional schooling doesn't encourage. One of the most profound lessons Rich Dad taught me was the importance of embracing failure. He told me that failure is not something to fear, but rather something to learn from. In school, we are conditioned to see failure as a negative, something to avoid at all costs. But in real life, failure is a crucial part of success. Each time I stumbled, each time I faced a setback, I learned something new that made me stronger. I learned that every mistake brings with it a lesson, and that true success is built on the foundation of these lessons. Rich Dad often said, "If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough." It was a mindset that changed the way I approached everything in life. Rich Dad's teachings went beyond just money. He emphasized the importance of mindset. Poverty and wealth are taught within families. If children grow up hearing statements like, "We can't afford that," they internalize a mindset of scarcity. Rich Dad, on the other hand, always encouraged me to ask, "How can I afford it?" A question opens the mind, while a statement closes it. By simply shifting the way you talk to yourself, you can change your mindset and your future. Another key lesson was to seek out real teachers, not fake ones. Fake teachers, according to Rich Dad, are those who teach subjects they have no real-world experience in. I wanted real teachers, my accountants, my attorneys, and my real estate agents, people who worked in the field every day. Learning from people who practice what they teach gave me the skills and confidence to tackle real-world problems. This was in stark contrast to traditional teachers who might teach calculus or other subjects that they themselves never use in real life. Rich Dad also stressed the importance of understanding how money works, particularly in the context of taxes and debt. He explained to me that there are two types of debt: good debt and bad debt. Good debt is used to acquire assets that generate income, while bad debt is used for liabilities that drain your finances. This understanding of debt is something that very few people grasp, and it's one of the reasons why so many individuals struggle financially. Rich Dad showed me how to leverage good debt to build wealth, a lesson that was crucial in my journey towards financial independence. The central message from my story is that financial education is something you must actively seek out. It won't be handed to you in school. The wealthy understand the rules of money because they've learned it from real experiences, often outside the classroom. Rich Dad taught me to play the game of money, not just theoretically, but practically, by buying assets, taking risks, and learning from the consequences. Financial literacy is about more than just understanding numbers. It's about understanding the laws, the tax codes, and the strategies that the wealthy use to maintain and grow their wealth. I learned that the tax system is designed to reward those who contribute to the economy, entrepreneurs and investors, while those who simply earn a paycheck are taxed the most. By understanding how the tax system works, I could legally minimize my taxes and keep more of my earnings. This was a powerful revelation that further differentiated the wealthy from the middle class and the poor. Rich Dad also taught me the value of giving back and being generous. He explained that true wealth is not just about accumulating money, but about using that money to make a positive impact. By giving back, you not only help others, but also create opportunities for yourself. This lesson of generosity was a key part of Rich Dad's philosophy and something that I have carried with me throughout my life. The idea of leveraging money and assets to make a greater impact was something that resonated deeply with me. Rich Dad would always remind me that money is simply a tool. It is neither inherently good nor bad, but what you do with it defines its value. He would say, money is like a hammer. It can build something or it can destroy something. It all depends on the hands that hold it. This philosophy shaped how I view wealth. I came to understand that the purpose of acquiring wealth wasn't just for personal gain, but to create opportunities, to uplift others, and to leave a positive legacy. I also learned about the power of having a strong financial network. Rich Dad stressed that success doesn't happen in isolation. He encouraged me to build relationships with people who were experts in their fields: accountants, lawyers, investors, and bankers. He taught me to surround myself with people who could offer insights, advice, and guidance. This network became my support system, helping me navigate complex financial challenges. I realized that building wealth wasn't just about what you know, but also about who you know and how you leverage those relationships. Rich Dad always emphasized the difference between assets and liabilities. He drilled into me the importance of acquiring assets, things that put money into your pocket, rather than liabilities that take money out. He made it clear that the middle class often confuses liabilities with assets, thinking that their house or car is an asset when in reality, it often drains their finances. I learned to differentiate between the two and to focus my efforts on accumulating real assets, investments that would generate income and build my wealth over time. In life, the true lessons often come not from textbooks or conventional classrooms, but from real-world experiences and the people who have lived through them. My journey, guided by Rich Dad, taught me the importance of understanding money beyond just earning a paycheck. It's about developing a mindset that seeks solutions rather than accepting limitations. The lessons of acquiring assets, asking the right questions, and learning from true experts are universal truths that apply to anyone aspiring for financial independence. The biggest takeaway is that financial success starts with a mindset that isn't afraid to question the norms, take risks, and learn from both successes and failures. We are often taught to fear mistakes, but it's through those very mistakes that we grow the most. The world of money isn't about formulas taught in schools. It's about creativity, persistence, and an unyielding desire to learn and adapt. So take a step back and ask yourself, are you thinking like an employee, waiting for that paycheck? Or are you ready to think like an entrepreneur, ready to play the real-life game of Monopoly? Financial independence doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from daring to be different, from challenging the status quo, and from continuously learning and growing. My story reminds us that wealth is not just about having money. It's about having the freedom to make choices, to take risks, and to live life on your own terms. By shifting your mindset, seeking out real teachers, and learning the true rules of money, you can begin your journey towards financial independence and ultimately create a life that is not only financially secure, but also fulfilling and impactful. As I reflect on the journey that brought me to where I am today, I see that the lessons I learned from Rich Dad were far more than financial. They were lessons about life. They taught me to think differently, to challenge the norms, and to never settle for less than what I knew I was capable of achieving. I hope that my story inspires you to seek out your own Rich Dad, to find those real teachers who can guide you, and to take control of your financial future. Remember, the game of money is one that anyone can play, but only those who are willing to learn, adapt, and persevere will win.